Hey everybody! So here are the basic instructions for the Sweet Things mini book. The written instructions were really hard to follow because this is kind of a tricky book, so I decided just to do a quick video to show you how to put it all together. It's really easy. So I'm going to give you some measurements and then I'm going to tell you how to put this book together really quick. So what you want to do first is you want to get a circle punch. I used a 1 3/8 inch hole punch. You can use any size you like, just keep in mind that you'll have to adjust your template when you make one. So you want to make a template like this with 5 punches at the top, and this is using 8.5 by 11 paper, and I just cut this one short, so this is actually 8.5 inches wide. So what you do is you punch out 5 circles and you line them up at the edge of the paper, and you kind of separate them evenly. You can do a little bit of measuring depending on what kind of punch you use. And then you just make some marks and you punch out half a circle off the top edge, and that's going to be your template for your pockets. Okay, so I've got that, and you're going to need some chipboard that comes in the kit, and that chipboard measures 5 3/4 inches by 8.5 inches. Looks like this. You need 2 of those for your front and back cover. And to cover this, you're actually going to leave a really thin border of this chipboard exposed because there's going to be a lot of craft in this book, so you want to have a really nice border, and that's just how I did it really. So to cover your covers on the inside and the back side, you need some pattern paper from the kit, and the width is, you're going to leave the width just how it is, and you're only going to cut 5.5 inches off of whatever pattern you like the best. And that gets glued down to the cover just like that, and then you're going to make 3 more for the back, and then the front and back of your back cover as well. So see how that kind of fits on there nicely, and it leaves a really nice border, a craft border from that chipboard exposed. So that's what you want. So you're going to make your covers and set those aside. Glue your pattern paper down on those, by the way. And now I'm going to show you how to do the pockets. So you're going to have 5 pockets, and these are mine here, so I'm going to try to show you what these look like. So I used my template, and I just took, this is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper folded in half. I just took my template, I put it over the first piece of paper at the top, and I just punched the first hole. So for the second pocket, so see that one looks like that, so set that aside. The second pocket I punched at the second hole using the guide. So see how I'm lining them up like this? And then so on and so on. So you're going to do the third hole, fourth hole, and then the 5th hole. Okay, and that'll give you this really nice sort of staggered file. Now to cover your pockets, you want to pick out whatever pattern papers you like the most. There's plenty of pattern papers to go around in this kit. And you're going to measure that, or you're going to cut that at 5 1/4 inches by 8.5 inches. Okay, and you're going to cut that 5 1/4 inch off of the top or bottom of the paper, depending, because the paper is an A4 size. So it looks like this. It's slightly larger than an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So you're going to cut 5 1/4 inches off of either side, and you're going to glue that down to your paper just like this, to the top half, and you'll notice it's leaving a nice little border, but it's covering up your hole. You want it to cover up that hole because what you're going to do is after you glue it down, you're going to take your hole punch and you're going to center it over the top of that, and you're going to punch, oops, sorry about that. You're just going to punch your pattern paper to fit your little pocket, so it'll look something like this. Okay, so see how that is? So once you've glued that pattern paper down, all you're going to do is you're going to glue this side here and this side here. So this side here and this side here to make a top loading pocket. And that's what you're going to do for all of your pages. So for all 5 pages, all of these pages, you're going to cut 5 1/4 inches by 8.5 inches of your pattern paper, and you're going to cover the front and backs however you like. Now keep in mind that you don't have to punch a hole off the back side pattern paper because there's no hole on that side. So that's why we're not gluing the pockets together beforehand. So you want to glue your pattern paper down first and your back side, and then you're going to glue the 2 sides to form your pocket. Okay, so you're going to do that with all of your pockets. And now for the inserts, you need some craft paper cut at 7 3/4 inches by 5 inches. Okay, so that's 7 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And to make a mat, we're only covering the front. To make a mat, you're going to cut some pattern paper at 7 1/4 inches by 4 1/2 inches. And that'll leave a little bit thicker of a border all around your insert. And your insert will fit right inside your pocket like this. So you'll see there's a little less than 1/2 inch on each side so that these will slip in there nice and easy. And so once you've stuck that into your pocket, so let's say we've stuck it in like this, and our pattern paper's lined up, you're going to take the tabs that come in the kit, and you're just going to glue the tab to your insert. So it's going to be glued right there so it's still showing through the hole on each one of your pockets. So they'll slide up like this. Okay? And you'll do that for all 5 pockets. You'll make inserts for all of them. So once more, those measurements for the mat, or for the backing, it's 7 3/4 inches by 5. For the matting, it is 7 1/4 by 4 1/2. Okay? And now for the binding. This part is a little tricky, but it's not too bad. You're going to take an 8 1/2 by 11 paper, and you're going to cut it at 5 1/2 inches tall, and it's going to be 11 inches wide. So you're only making one cut, and that's going to be at 5 1/2 inches. So you're going to make a wide cut, and then what you're going to do is you're going to score every 1/2 inch until the entire page is scored all the way down. And then all you're going to do is you're going to do an accordion fold. So I'm going to show you pretty close here. So you're going to skip the first valley fold, which is this one here. So see where I've got this X? Where these X's are, you're going to put your page in there. You're going to glue your page in there, and you're going to sandwich it in there. I'm going to show you that in just a second. So skip the first inch, and then the next inch is where you're going to put your paper in there. But before you do that, you're going to want to put a nice little border on all of your pages that looks like this. So take your favorite border punch, and you're going to take, let's see, where's my notes here? You're going to take a 5 1/2 inch strip of paper, and you're going to punch the edge, and after you've punched your edge, you're going to stick it into your paper trimmer, and you're going to cut it at 1 inch. So the very edge of your punch is going to meet up at the inch mark, and then you're going to make a cut. So this is going to be 1 inch wide. Now, you want to make sure that you don't cut 1 inch strips and then punch it. You want to keep one whole sheet of paper, because you need this, because once you use that border punch, it may slice a little bit off the top, and then it's not going to be a true inch, and you really want this to be a true inch. So punch it first, measure it to 1 inch, and then trim it, and then you'll have 1 inch strips that have a border punch on one side. And then you're just going to glue that to your page there. Okay? So now I'm going to show you how, and that's going to go on the left side front of your pockets and the right side back of your pockets. So wherever the binding is, that's where your punched borders are going to go. So when you stick this into your accordion, I've got little X's here. So we skipped the first inch. The second inch is split in two. So see, every line is a 1/2 inch. What you're going to do is you're going to put some glue on this side here and this side here, and you're going to kind of sandwich your page in there, and then you're going to pinch it together like this. Okay? So you're going to hold that until it's nice and glued, and it'll look like this on the inside. And then you're going to skip that next valley. So these two, this 1 inch you're going to skip, and you're going to move on to the next two, and you're going to glue your next page in there the same way. So see exactly what I'm talking about in a way. So basically, I'm going to show you this one more time. You're going to skip the first inch that's already split into a 1/2 inch. So the first 2 bars you're going to skip. You're going to make an X in the next 2 bars, skip 2 bars, make an X in the next 2 bars, skip 2 bars, make an X, and wherever those X's are, that's where you're going to sandwich your pages in between. So once again, see there's an X here, so I would put my page in there and I would sandwich it in there just like this. Okay? And to glue your covers on, all you have to do is take your chipboard cover, which will look like this. Now because this page is going to be sandwiched in right there, you're just going to take a little bit of glue. So you see I've got this one valley fold. You're going to put some glue on this edge here, and that's going to glue onto the inside of your cover like this. Okay? So really, really easy. And then once you've done that, you're going to do the same thing on the back side. So on the back side, there's going to be a page right inside this X, and you're going to be left with an inch that's cut in half. You're going to put glue on that back side, and that's going to go onto the back of your album. So super, super easy. And then, so now your book will all be assembled, and all you have to do is take some lace, about a yard, cut in half, or cut in quarters, I should say, and you're going to glue one piece right in here, and then another piece right down here, and you're going to do the same thing on the back, and then you're just going to tie bows onto the sides. And that's it. So really, really easy. And if you have any questions, please let me know. You can email me. My email is marian@apieceofcraft.com, and I will answer your email as soon as I can. It's been kind of a crazy couple weeks, being that I've had to record this video more than once since it was too long to upload to YouTube, and apparently too long for emails because some people were saying they weren't getting them when I was emailing them. So there we go. Really quick and easy. You can pause and rewind at any point during this video to look at the pictures. And like I said, if you have any questions, please ask. I'm happy to answer them. Thanks, guys.